Los Angeles Clippers are your new favorites to win the NBA title. They are at plus 240. So exciting. The playoffs start today. If the playoffs are anything like the play-in was, right, with Memphis and Portland, this is going to be a very, very exciting time, right? The Lakers are now the second favorite, right? Number 2 there at plus 300, followed by the Milwaukee Bucks at plus 325. 4 ball games today, 4 really, really interesting ball games. I wanted to talk about 2 of the games, right? The Clippers facing off against Dallas. Dallas with the most efficient offense in the history of the NBA. We know how well the Clippers defend the perimeter, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Luka Doncic offers here in his first game in the playoffs in his career. Patrick Beverley is questionable, okay? So that could affect the scoring a little bit because we know Beverley's a really, really feisty little defender. But I like the Clippers at minus 6 points a lot. I know that Dallas, man, against the spread in the last 11 games, 9-1-1 when they were underdogs of at least 6 points. This is something you need to take into consideration. But against the Clippers have covered their last 4 games against the Dallas Mavericks. And I don't think this is a good matchup, man, because the Clippers can score and they have amazing defense. And Harrell is coming back, Montrezl Harrell. I'm anxious to see how he's going to be physically, right, after not playing in the 8 games there in the bubble. But the Clippers are a much more complete ball club. And Kawhi and Paul George, they're 2 legitimate lockdown defenders. So I think Luka could face some problems here. I mean, Dallas needs other people to really, really get involved, take pressure off Luka Doncic. Let's see how Porzingis does in this series. But I like the Clippers to win game 1 by more than 6 points. Okay, and the line here is minus 6 points and at minus 110. Okay, and I also like the Clippers to go over 118 points at minus 115. These 2 teams faced off a little while ago in the bubble. The Clippers beat them 126 to 111. Okay, it was a very easy win for LA. I see the same thing happening again. The Mavericks have only covered 2 out of the last 8 ball games overall. I'm going with the Clippers minus 6. And I'm going with the Clippers over 118 points. Now, the Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers, right? Wonderful rivalry there in the Eastern Conference, if you will. The Sixers beat Boston 3 out of 4 times, but they're not before the stoppage, but they're not going to have Ben Simmons. There's some chemistry issues out there in Philadelphia, right? No Ben Simmons, who did a really good job defending Jason Tatum. I'm very anxious to see what Jason Tatum does in this series. I'm very anxious to see what Joel Embiid offers, man. He's kind of up and down, right? Mentally too. He can dominate there in the paint against Boston, man. It'd be great if Al Horford did something, right? I mean, when Philly got Horford, I'm like, these Twin Towers, man, I mean, they could be really, really dangerous. Al Horford has not done a good job. But now with Simmons out, Horford playing against his former team, I'm anxious to see what he does. But I just don't think Philadelphia has enough defense to really stop those wings, man. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. The Celtics 5.5 point favorites. I see Boston covering the spread. And I also like the over at over 112 points at minus 115. The clip, like I said, man, Philadelphia without Jason Tatum, without Ben Simmons, pardon me, is a different defense. They've given up at least 125 points in 5 out of 8 games. So I really think that this number is low, 112 points for Boston. Man, I think they're going to go over. And the Celtics are plus 1,200 to win the NBA title. We shall see what happens, man. If they reach their full potential, I mean, it's obvious that they could do it. But Jason Tatum, he's got to be phenomenal. I think there's going to be a number of sweeps here. This is an interesting play here. I'm going for three sweeps, okay, out of the 8 series. That's what I think. Because I think Brooklyn's going to get swept by Toronto. I think the Magic are going to get swept by the Bucks. And then I think there's going to be another sweep in between. I would not be surprised if the Clippers swept Dallas. Okay? So you can bet on the number of sweeps here. I'm going 3 sweeps at plus 600. Right? We shall see if that hits. Some long shots to win the title. The Heat at plus 3,300. Denver at plus 3,000. The playoffs start. It's kind of a time when you start dreaming. You're a fan. You're like, what if? Maybe we could do it. I see a light at the end of the tunnel for both these teams, right? I mean, Denver, no Will Bart, no Gary Harris. These guys come back. The way that Michael Porter Jr. has been playing, and then you get Jamal Murray and Jokic, things could be very interesting for Denver there in the playoffs, and they are at plus 3,000. Now, the Miami Heat, I really like Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. I really do. Philadelphia, man, they almost beat Toronto in the playoffs last year, right? Butler played really well in the playoffs. He's just got that playmaker mentality, and, he just grows in these high-pressure situations. So the Heat are at plus 3,300. They played Milwaukee really tough during the regular season, right, with Bam Bam Adebayo. Great defensively. They got a number of young players that if they play well, man, I mean, they also have some veterans like Iguodala, like Goran Dragic, very well coached, very interesting team. Anything can happen in the bubble. I mean, it is a box of chocolates. So the Heat at plus 3,300. You can maybe imagine them getting to the finals. I mean, I think it's a possibility. You get to the finals in the bubble. I mean, there's no home court advantage. Anything can happen. So we shall see what happens. I hope you have a great day. The playoffs are starting. I'm telling you, man, it was very exciting with the whole play-in, like I already said. I'm interested to see if the playoffs are the same thing without fans in the stands. We shall see. Talk soon. For everything about the world of betting, you can go to oddshark.com.